booties for black girl nerds.
Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank
Welcome,
you.
Jamie.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Olivia, I'm going to start with you. How did your relationship with Benedict's character, Theo, help influence or inform your performance?
With my relationship with real Benedict, or
His character, Theo.
oh, sorry. Sorry. Well, I'm not very good at. I just have to basically say that Tony McNamara did it. So his writing was so good that he'd written such lovely characters that I knew who I was meant to be playing, and I could see who you were playing, and so we just said the words. And sorry, I should make up something much better.
No. Keep it real. Keep it authentic.
Just talk about the dress sense or something, or the way he ate.
It was sort of easy to do it because, Tony had made it so easy. And looking into Ben's eyes, and Ben reacts instantly to everything. It was just joyful, which is skipping to work every day. I knew exactly, okay, I know, this is fun. And then you're off and off and running.
I love that. And it sounds like everything was on the page. There wasn't much improv involved with your character work.
Minimal on our part. Lot of brilliance from Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon.
Particularly your American comedian comic actors are absolute. It was like having front row seats to something. It was to SNL or something. It was really amazing. I think they're just better at improvising than. They're
brilliant writers. Well, they're just brilliant writers, both of them, and performers, obviously. But they know how to craft new material. I wonder
if it's more of an American thing to play it around the world.
I think definitely it is.
Because they were all so good at it. We sat there in awe. They were amazing.
Really brilliant.
And Zoe. Yeah. Suni.
And Benedict, for you, Theo's relationship with Ivy is central to this story. How did you and Olivia work to make that sibling dynamic feel authentic?
Well, they're not related. No, I was
right. But there's kind of like a sibling rivalry.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Like that dynamic.
I know. I can't say that, but it does seem like a bit of a get out to the question. But Tony McNamara wrote this amazing dynamic between them, and their impulsiveness, their strength, their egos, when aligned and when falling in love and making a family and making a move to America, all of that stuff produces great, beautiful, loving, harmonious, witty, caring, generous, and attractiveness. It just works. It's a great partnership. And when it gets to a point where they start to lose that conversation between them and drift into different spheres of life due to circumstances changing, that's when it slightly falls apart and their wit turns on itself and becomes a little toxic. And I think both aspects of that and the way it sort of did it very fluidly and seamlessly and sometimes within one scene is again down to the subtlety and brilliance and tonal daring of Tony McNamara and a great director.
Yeah.
And we shot a lot chronologically, not everything, but there was a lot of, it was easy to track where they were in their trajectory.
Trajectory.
Livia's favourite word of mine.
Can't say it.
Trajectory. I don't think I can. I'm getting away with it. You're very kind. But it's all there. It's all there. And we know each other well. We knew each other as friends. I know her work. I've never worked with her before, but so the expectation, I suppose, could have been awful if it wasn't as good as I hoped for. But it was better, and it was, inspiring. It was just brilliant to be opposite her. So a lot from the performance as well as the material.
Well, I absolutely loved your performances respectively in this. And Theo and Ivy, they kind of break the stereotype of the English. I always thought the English was more reserved and kept things inwardly, but they break that stereotype by just telling it like it is and just no scruples.
Yeah, again,
exactly.
because we had an amazing Australian.
That helps, an Australian writing an English couple in America, so it makes for a nice sort of goulash of stuff.
Yeah, goulash, lovely.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Black Girl.
Very welcome.
I appreciate the conversation.
Lovely talking to you.
Jamie Broadnax, Black Girl Nerds. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you.
Good, how are you?
Great.
Awesome. Awesome. Before I even begin, Andy, I've been a Lonely Island Guys fan for years, and I just recently spoke with your fellow cohort Akiva on The Naked Gun.
Yes.
So it's good to talk to you. Now I just need to speak to Jorma and my life will be complete.
Yeah, you got to get that Yorm action. I think he has a movie coming out actually soon-ish, so you might get the trifecta.
There we go. There we go. Well, I absolutely love this film. I love the dynamic between the two of you. Andy, I'll start with you. Comedy often thrives on timing and chemistry. So how did your rhythm with Kate's character, how did you find that rhythm working together with Kate?
I mean, we knew each other from SNL. We overlapped a year. I've obviously watched everything she's done, and I'm a huge fan of hers. A big part of it, too, is the way that Tony McNamara wrote this script. I think his rhythm is pretty clear on the page, and then we just try and do justice to that. And then once we started getting into the scenes after a day or two, I think Kate and I found our own personal music, I'm going to call it.
Aww.
And started infusing that into things here and there as well, and it sort of became what it was.
Real clarinet
And-
heavy. Yeah.
What was that, Kate?
Sorry. I said it was real clarinet heavy, the music.
Our music,
And that was
yeah.
a
love
joke
that.
because it wasn't.
Clarinet forward.
Yes.
Clarinet forward. I love that. Kate, for you, were there any moments where Amy's comedy came naturally versus scenes that required some careful planning?
Oh gosh. Well, like Andy said, I was just so excited to get to say stuff written by like my favorite screenwriter, Tony McNamara. And so just saying the lines with, you didn't really have to put anything on it. It just was written so funny. And so I just sort of tried to stick with that and then like infuse it with how I really felt about Andy, which was like so affectionate, just such great reverence and love, and you know, there you go.
I mean, the chemistry between the two of you was
good.
palpable. So I absolutely loved it. Were there any improvised moments, back to you, Andy,
Yeah.
as Barry, that ended up in the final cut, or was everything on the page?
Everything was pretty much on the page. I will say, after talking it through with Jay and Tony, certain scenes, I would sort of be like, is it okay if I try some things in these particular moments? And they would go, yeah, of course. And then I would bring in ideas, and Kate did the same. And those things found their way in, but it's sort of like supplementary. You know, it's like, if the movie was an amazing steak, it's like a little truffle shaving.
Awesome. Well,
That's
loved
relatable, right?
enjoying seeing
Yeah,
both
it's
of
the
you.
Bernays.
Love seeing you guys on screen. They're giving me the wrap. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Black
Thank
Girl
you
Nerds. I
so
appreciate
much.
the conversation.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Hi, Jamie. Nice to meet you. Of
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks so much for taking time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
course. Thanks for the interest.
Absolutely. So The Roses, it has this rich blend of comedy, drama, and family dynamics. How did you approach balancing these tones as the director?
You know, it's great writing to start with. Tony McNamara is such a brilliant screenwriter, and I was a huge fan of his shows and films. But then it's just casting. I have loved Olivia Colman's work for so many years, and she finds that range. And almost everything she does, there's a bit of tragedy and dysfunction, in the way she comes at things. But then it also happens to be hilarious almost all the time. And I knew Benedict was funny, but he's not known as well for the comedy. But I knew from watching Patrick Melrose and, a ton of, what is it? Power of the Dog? Is it called Power of the
Yeah,
Dog?
Power of the Dog. Yeah. Mhm.
He can do anything. And so I knew he also wanted to, keep up with her and her comedic thing. And they're both so funny and so fast. So it was all, tone. I always say tone is casting. It's you can do everything which thing you want to do as a director, and you know how you cut it, how you shoot it, how. But if the casting, if the tone of the sort of performances aren't there, you know, it's not going to work.
I love how these two try to one up each other throughout this journey of a film. How did you approach directing a large ensemble while still giving each character room to breathe as well as shine?
Sure. I've done. I fortunately came up in comedy, and so I'm used to working in, you know, big groups. I was just rewatching Meet the Fockers the other day because we were doing the 4K transfer or something. And getting, you know, that was another big table scene. I guess I've done a fair number of, you know, funny scenes around a table. And the thing I love about that is that the actors can't go anywhere. They're just, the characters too are just stuck in that one place, and they have to react and participate. But it is a bit of a pressure cooker. And so I love setting up a predicament like that. And then you throw in, you know, Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon and Ncuti Gatwa and Zoe Chow and Jamie Demetrio and Sunita. You know, like you have so much electricity and a kind of explosiveness and a danger in a way too. It could go really horribly wrong, and you sense that throughout the suspense in that. But if you get that level of cast, you're just putting them in there and saying go. And so much of it, when they're that talented, so much of it happens on its own.
I love that. Did any of the scenes evolve differently than you expected during filming? And how did you adapt, if so?
You know, there's the scene right after that dinner scene, when Olivia and Benedict are really facing how bad things have gotten. And, you know, they keep trying, they keep, you know, getting close to reconciling and figuring each other out again after their fortunes have shifted. But then things go off the rail again, and they start to get lost in their own egos and selfish whatever. And that scene, I should have known based on their dramatic chops. We were in such a comedy mode during that whole dinner scene, but then very next day we shot that really intense dramatic scene that almost gets to a level of like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf or something. It's so intense, and that I was breathless watching on the monitors. Just the way they connected with their despair, you know, in the middle of this somewhat broadly set up comedy. They were so deeply and relatably in pain and trying to figure it out, you know, and then they apologize again afterwards. But wow, that's intense. And that surprised me how deep it went.
Love it. Love every bit of it. Jay, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Black Girl Nerds. I really appreciate the conversation.
Oh, yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Likewise. Take care. Bye.
Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.